Well, thank you all so much for joining us this morning. We're going to start off with a quick introduction. I'm Marquise, and I just want to know, could both of you introduce yourselves, like what's your name, title, where do you work, general information like that?
Sure. So my name is Kristyn Cherry. I am a housing policy analyst at the Georgia Department of Community Affairs. I work with our Deputy Commissioner for Housing and our Senior Housing Policy Analyst within that division.
All right. And what about you, Dr. Durham?
Yes, my name is Jermaine Durham. I'm an assistant professor of housing and community development at the University of Georgia. Also the director of the Georgia Initiative for Community Housing. And yeah, that's my title.
All right. And how long have you been working with UGA and in your field of expertise in general?
Well, I have been working at UGA for a little over a year now. I started back in February of 2019. I've been working in community development for quite a while, dating back to probably 10 years ago, I guess is when I first got started. I got started down in Savannah State University, where I got my master's degree in urban studies and planning, and started working on some community development initiatives down in Savannah. And from there, went to Clemson University, where I continued to study planning and more specifically kind of community development. And from there, I'm now at University of Georgia.
All right. And how about you, Kristyn?
Sure. So I've been with DCA for just about 9 months now. I started back in August. My background is in state government, so worked at a different state agency for just about 3 years, really understanding kind of the relationship between state agencies, local governments, and really communities at large, and received my master's in social policy, so familiar with policy analysis and implementation, et cetera, and then came on to Department of Community Affairs to start doing some housing policy work and really enjoying it so far.
All right. So plenty of years of experience between the two of you, it seems. All right. So can you explain to us what Georgia Initiative for Community Housing is exactly, otherwise known as GICH? What do those letters mean?
Should I go? Or?
Sure, and I can.
I think I know a little something about the program. Yeah. Yeah. So the Georgia Initiative for Community Housing is basically a partnership, collaboration between the University of Georgia, Department of Community Affairs, and the Georgia Municipal Association. And basically what we do is partner with cities around the state of Georgia. We work with about 15 cities at a time. And walk them through the process of solving housing issues and community-related issues on the local level. We basically bring together a group of local leaders and train them, educate them on housing policy, housing strategies, allow them to network with other communities, and also provide facilitation. And this occurs over a 3-year period. And communities go through the program, learn about their issues at a local level, and develop plans and strategies for addressing those issues.
Okay, and then we'll go back to Kristyn. Do you know of any, just off the top of your head, any major programs that GICH has helped facilitate and make possible?
Yeah, so I can talk a bit about kind of DCA's connection to GIC in some of our housing programs that kind of are married well into the program. So DCA helps to provide some technical assistance to the program and really specifically some facilitation to the communities who are participating in the program. So what that looks like is we have 12 regional reps on the DCA staff, as well as myself and our senior housing policy analyst who serve as facilitators to these communities. So we're paired with the community, and generally we'll stick with that community throughout the 3 years of their program. And basically, you know, we do just what it sounds like. We facilitate meetings. We try to be there to answer any specific questions that they have, but we really stress to them that this is their program, right? This is their housing plan that they're creating. We're there as a resource to maybe point them in the right direction, to kind of shape the conversation around housing and lend our expertise. But it's, you know, their vision, their community, and it's their work that they're doing. So we provide that facilitation on that that level. And then kind of zooming out on the organizational level, DCA is really, proud to be able to provide some special initiatives to those GIG communities who are participating in the program. So what that means is that a GIG community who's participating in the program, and even those who graduate the program and become certified alumni of the program, are able to enjoy some special perks in our housing programs. So our CHIP program, our CDBG program, our LIHTC program, these are all programs that are very well known throughout the state, and being part of the GIG kind of network allows you to receive some special consideration on those applications, which is really cool. And this is really an exclusive group of communities around the state that are able to kind of hold that designation. So we are obviously able to commit funds to some communities around the state, whether that be CHIP funds. I know we just announced our newest CHIP funds to communities around the state. We're able to facilitate the development of LIHTC projects, et cetera. So that's really exciting, and that's kind of the work that DCA does.
All right. Well, thank you. It's a very comprehensive explanation of what the Department of Community Affairs does and how they're involved. But also, Dr. Durham is from UGA. What exactly, if you could please, Dr. Durham, explain to us what's the UGA and DCA connection? Like, how do you two interact as organizations on part of GIG?
Yeah, so the UGA and DCA connection goes all the way back to the founding of the GIG program, which was back in 2004, 2005. DCA has just played a tremendous role with regard to the facilitation, as Kristyn pointed out. And DCA helps to shape the GIG program as much as UGA does. We have a group of planning committee members that from DCA, UGA, as well as GMA. And every month we meet and we talk about the retreats that we have each year. We talk about some programmatic changes that may need to be made, and just in general, some of the issues that GIG communities and communities in general around the state are facing. So DCA plays a very pivotal role, not only in the incentives that they provide, but also in helping to kind of shape the program itself and how we interact with communities.
Well, thank you. And from my understanding, if you are a community, a part of this program, it is a 3-year system, essentially. I was reading up, and apparently it goes freshman, sophomore, junior, and then an alumnus or alumni, like Kristyn was mentioning. Can you explain, is there any difference in what you can expect from either of those years, or is it just generally referring to how long you've been in the program?
Well, we actually have a curriculum for communities that go through the program. So there are, although every community is going to receive similar, if not the same content throughout the 3 years that they're there, we try to tailor that to, freshman communities kind of really trying to understand really what the nature of the problem is in their local communities. And so we basically provide them with an overview of strategies, an overview of some of the DCA programs that they have that can assist with local community development and housing, and really just trying to get them a kind of a broad overview of what all is out there. As communities matriculate through the program, they get more and more specific information about the identified issues, the unique issues that they have. So some communities are dealing with just substandard housing, and other communities may be dealing more so with affordability. So after that first year, we try to tailor the information that they receive to be more specific to the issues that the unique issues that they are facing. So each community is going to get a little bit different information, but throughout the program, they all will pretty much receive kind of the same information.
Now, for you, Kristyn, let's just say if I were like the director of community development in a county or a city somewhere in Georgia, and I just heard about this yesterday and I really wanted to get involved, can you explain to the audience what exactly is the process for a community getting involved with the GIG program?
Sure. I'll do my best to explain, and then Jermaine, please feel free to hop in if I've missed anything. But so let's pretend that you've just heard of the program, which we're so excited that you've heard about the program. And so UGA hosts the GIC website. So there's a web page that you can find all the information about the program, the history. There's a page that kind of walks you through how to apply, et cetera. But so the first step really, I think, would be to kind of go to that web page, look around, dig around, and then kind of the timeline of events. There's a competitive application process, right? So we have lots of communities around the state can only accept really 5 a year. So there's an application process, and really where you want to start is each year we host a informational webinar, and that is actually happening this Friday, the 22nd. And that webinar really walks you through the application. It walks you through what is the GIG program in general. Can you tell us a little bit more about what the program looks like? And so give some really general but very thorough information on the program and the application process. And that's really a chance for communities like yourself who have just heard of the program to really understand more about what GIC is. So once you've kind of looked at that informational webinar, you're obviously welcome to kind of send in questions as you get them to Jermaine and Morgan, who's the program assistant for GIC. Obviously, I'm here to answer any questions as well. And then there's, the application. Actually, I want to kind of rewind a little bit. There's a letter of an intent that we ask that communities submit, basically letting us know, hey, I'm interested in applying. We do plan on applying. It asks you to give a brief narrative of kind of the situation that's going on in your community in regards to housing. So that letter of intent is submitted, and then we ask that you go ahead and submit the actual application. And the application is very self-explanatory, I would say. It gives you, it walks you through line by line, kind of what to submit, asks you to maybe submit some data, your narrative, talk about your housing team, which is so important to the success of our GIC communities. And so that's a really thorough application. Jermaine, I don't know if you want to jump in on the application part of it, but really kind of once the application happens, our planning team reviews it, and then there's kind of another process of site visits and then selection, and then obviously you start doing the work.
Yeah, I think Kristyn pretty much hit all of the major points of the application, and really one of the things that we want to understand and want to be sure of with communities that are getting into the GIG program is that they are aware of the work that's going to take place. This is a 3-year program, and it is a tremendous amount of work that communities do, and it's really impressive what a local group of residents, concerned citizens, local leadership are able to accomplish over those 3 years. We've had some really, really interesting things that have taken place, some huge success stories. But we've also had communities that have not been as successful as we or they would have liked. And a lot of that goes back to really understanding what the program is going to be, making sure that you have the right people in place, people who are dedicated, who are going to kind of stick with this throughout not only the 3 years, because most often we don't see, housing teams don't see the fruits of their labor until 5, maybe even 10 years down the road. The 3 years is just really getting a plan of action together, and then the implementation really takes place 4, 5, 6 years down the road. But it's the application process is really opportunity for the housing team to select communities that we feel are most prepared to kind of go through this journey. But that's pretty much the application in our process in and of itself.
All right, wonderful. And you said there's a webinar happening this Friday. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we have the first informational webinar. We're actually switching things up a little bit this year, given the kind of COVID-19 outbreak and the impact that that's had on, a big part of the GIG program is about meeting and coming together. So obviously that's going to kind of hinder a lot of that. But anyway, we're going to have a series of informational webinars throughout the summer. The first one will be this Friday from 10 to 12, and we have a Zoom link for that. And so any interested community participates in that. It's a really good time to really learn the details about GIC. What are the responsibilities and the roles that the housing team is going to play, and for communities to be able to kind of get some questions answered that they may have.
All right. Well, thank you. And last but not least, Dr. Durham, if you could just explain to the audience, how exactly can your office be reached?
Yes, so I have a office number. However, campus has been shut down as for a couple of months. So we are encouraging interested communities or those who are interested in the program to reach out via my email, and that's Jermaine.Durham, Durham, at UGA.edu, and I can provide that to you to get kind of give out to those who are listening, or they can just go to the GIC website. The number is 706-542-4949. But all this information is on the GIC website. But we do encourage people to kind of reach out via email, given the limited access that we have to campus right now.
Absolutely. And I'll just make sure all of your content information will be included. Whenever we post this video, it'll definitely be in the description. But you as well, Kristyn, if you could just share us some contact information. So how could people reach you if they had any questions, comments, or concerns?
Absolutely. I echo the same thing as Jermaine. Definitely accessible via email because of everything that's going on and kind of the work from home situation. But my email is Kristyn, Kristyn.Cherry at dca.ga.gov. You can also give me a ring at 404-327-6813.
All right. Well, any lasting thoughts? Anything I didn't ask about that you really want to share?
I don't think I have anything. Anything for you, Jermaine?
Well, I really appreciate DCA and appreciate you, Marquise, for kind of highlighting the program. This is something that that DCA as well as UGA, GMA, we are really, really proud of this program. It has really done a lot of great work, and we hope to continue to do great work around the state. And it really, just thankful for people like you who are kind of highlighting the program and getting the word out.
Oh, well, thank you all. It's an honest pleasure. Thank y'all. It's nice speaking with you all, seeing so many people doing so many good things for the state of Georgia, and especially Davia. Technically this was absolutely her idea, but still.
Okay, well, thank you, Davia, as well.
Absolutely. I appreciate being part of the process. So yeah, with that, I just want to say thank you all so much for joining us today. This has been Dr. Jermaine Durham and Kristyn Cherry. If there's nothing less, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll include all their information down below. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.